Hi, I'm Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive at cubiesquest.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a faux frame card using the rectangle stitch framelits, which are these guys, and the Humming Along bundle, which consists of the Humming Along stamp set and the Hummingbird framelits. This Hummingbird faux frame card is the card that I'm making for my team swap at Onstage. I love how it's raised off the card a little bit, so it really looks like a picture frame. I'm going to show you how to make this card from start to finish, so let's get started. To start off with, we're going to be stamping the Hummingbird stamp on a scrap piece of shimmery white cardstock. I'm going to use shimmery white cardstock here because it will reflect nicely when you hold it up to the light. I'm going to stamp the Hummingbird in shaded spruce. And I'm just going to leave my Hummingbird face up on my work surface and then use the ink pad to gently tap on top of it to ink it up. Just going to stamp it down right in the center and lift straight off. Next, you're going to need your big shot. I have my magnetic platform down, a cutting plate. Then I'm going to take the Hummingbird and the Hummingbird framelit. I'll just put that around my Hummingbird and make sure it's centered. Then I'll put my second cutting plate on top and run it through. I just love how I don't have to do any hand cutting of this Hummingbird. So next we're going to cut the frame, and for that I'm going to use a piece of designer series paper and a piece of cardstock. The designer series paper is called All My Love, and I'm using a matching cardstock Lovely lipstick for the background. I'm going to take some Tombow and I'm just going to put it along the outside of the Lovely lipstick piece. Just a thin bead of glue, because this part will be the frame. And then I'm just going to add my designer series paper on top of it. Just perfectly center it. Then I'm going to put that on top of my magnetic platform. And I'm going to use the third largest rectangle framelit. And I'm going to be running through the framelit on an angle because it makes it easier for it to go through. And I just want to center this as well as possible on the designer series paper. And I want to make sure it is straight. When that looks good, I'm going to run it through. And then these two pieces should be separate on the inside. These you can use for another project, and then you'll save this outer piece for the frame. Next, I'm going to cut the inner frame, and I'm going to use a piece of shaded spruce cardstock for that. I've cut this piece just a little bit smaller than the other pieces. This piece measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Again, I'm going to put this on my platform on an angle, and this time we're going to use the fourth largest framelit. I just want to make sure it's centered, and then I'm going to run it through the big shot. And you can use this middle piece for another project, and this is the piece that you'll use for your inner frame. Now we're going to adhere both of these together. The reason I made this frame a little bit smaller than the other one is so that I would have room to make sure that I centered the shaded spruce frame even if I didn't get it completely centered. So I'll have room to maneuver it on this edge. If you find that you miscalculated a little bit what the center is and you have something hanging off, you can always come with a scissor and cut that off afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put some Tombow right on the outer part of this shaded spruce frame, and then I'm just going to hover this over top and make sure it looks fairly centered when I come down. And because I backed up this designer series paper with cardstock, it really feels like a nice thick cardstock frame. Now let's color the hummingbird. I'm going to take my Bermuda Bay Light Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to start at the bottom here and just do the bottom of each feather with the brush tip. And I'm going to come along here and I'm going to do the wings. So I'm doing the wings and the tail all in this light Bermuda Bay. I'm not coloring the entire thing though. I am just doing partial strokes on the bottom of each of these little feathers. Then I'm going to come in with another color. Then I'm going to take my Pool Party Dark and come in and just fill in and blend out that Bermuda Bay. I'm using the brush tip again. And I'm using the brush tip on a bit of an angle. I'm not bringing it down on the tip. It's coming in from the side. And then I'll come up here, finish blending up here. And finish the feathers like that. Then I'll take my Petal Pink Light Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to come in here and just do the belly and darken off the bottom of the belly just a little bit more than the rest. Then I'm going to take my shaded Spruce Dark and come in and do the top of the head and the beak. I'm going to hit the beak just a little bit more than the rest of the head, like that. And then I'm going to take the lovely Lipstick Light and come here and do the throat and the face of the hummingbird. And you can just do the throat just a little bit more, make it just a little bit darker. Then I want to create an eye for the hummingbird, so I'm going to take my Rhinestone Jewels. I'll take one of the smaller jewels, and I'm going to use the basic black dark Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to very gently go around the outside of the Rhinestone Jewel with the blend. I'm just trying to darken the outer part of the rhinestone, and that will help create the look of an eye. Then I'm going to take my paper piercing tool and lift off the rhinestone and place it right where the eye is supposed to go, like that. For the card base, I'm going to use a piece of thick Whisper White. I cut this piece to 11 inches by 4 1/4 and scored it in half at 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to fold it and then use my bone folder to smooth that fold flat. Then I'm going to bring my frame back in and I'm going to place it over the card base and bring my hummingbird in and place it. I'm going to be putting a greeting right here. So I'm going to place everything where I want it to go, but not adhere it down yet, just in case I make a mistake. I'll have an opportunity to put a different Whisper White piece on top of the card base to fix my mistake. Hopefully I'll do it right the first time. I'm going to use shaded spruce ink, and I'm going to use the greeting that comes with the stamp set that says, "Hope you feel better really soon." I'm going to just tap it gently onto my ink pad and then come in here and I will stamp it right next to the hummingbird and lift off. All right, so now that that looks good, I can go ahead and get the frame ready. So I'll be using some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'll put one in each of the four corners. I'll put one in the center, the frame on the top and the bottom, and then I'll put two on the longer sides just to help support this frame. Then I'm going to take my paper piercing tool again and use it to remove the liners. If you pierce and flick, it removes the liners without having to use fingernails. So now I can just take my frame and add it to the card front. Like that. Then I'm going to adhere the hummingbird with Tombow. Just make sure I add some to the beak. And then I can just make sure that I rotate him the right way so that he fits and so that the greeting is not covered. And there you go, a pretty faux framed card with a beautiful colored hummingbird in the center. All the supplies you'll need to make this faux frame card are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now. I love to reward my customers with free tutorials. Check out my Hershey's Flower tutorial with 2 sizes of gift boxes. You can get this tutorial free if you place a minimum $15 order in my Stampin' Up store. For more details, check out my blog at cubiesquest.com and click on rewards. Hi, it's Brenda again. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also visit my blog for more information on my projects and to learn about my rewards program, or just watch another one of my videos. Thanks for watching.